Okay. All right. So, like I said, my name is Amanda Outley. I am the online research librarian here at Regis. You all have clearly heard from me in terms of our site news posts. Um, so, welcome. We're glad to have you. Trisha is my colleague here at the library. Trisha, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. Um, my name is Trisha Reinhardt. My official title is Information Services Director at the library. That's basically research librarian. I've actually been in the library field for about 20 years now, since I was a work study student at my alma mater. And I started in the library field because I really just wanted to help people, and especially help people find the information that they really need. And so I'm happy to be here today to teach you to hopefully find the information that you need and use the resources that you need for the library.
All right. I'm going to just put up a quick poll. We just wanted to, if you, two questions really. What program are you guys coming from? And are you an online or on-ground student? Um, Partially, we want to know what program you're coming from, so we're not, overwhelming you with too much information towards a certain program or another program. We want to try to tailor this to your uh, particular sort of area. Awesome. Okay. So it looks like we have some nursing, some social work. All right. So you could share that. So nursing, ABA, social work, great, a nice mix. All right, so let me flip this over so I can start sharing my screen. Let's see, which window? There we go. All right, so there are multiple ways of just even getting to the library's website. Whether you are on the Regis website itself, you can click over here on the menu button, and there's a link under Academics for Library, which will take you right to our homepage. If you're starting from within Moodle, we also have a link right up here where you can click Regis Library and get to it from there. I certainly recommend going to our main library page over the link in Spike. Let me just actually pull that up. You may have already encountered this within Spike itself. There's also a link here for library resources. You can certainly use that, but we certainly encourage you to take a look at our website, which has a little bit of the sort of some of this information, but it also sort of allows you to sort of more easily jump into things. So when you're on the library's website, there's a lot of information going on here. We have, a search box, we have databases, books, research guides, contact us. One of the important things to know is contact us and actually library hours. Library hours will tell you whether or not there's a librarian around who's going to be able to respond to your questions. We update this frequently. The other important link there is the contact us page. That is actually where you will see whether or not there's a reference librarian who will be able to assist you with your research. We do have extended availability and librarians available to help you during the academic year. So for instance, we have librarians available until 10 o'clock at night, Monday through Thursday, 5 on Fridays, 8 on Saturdays, and again, noon to 10 on Sundays. This page also has where you can make an appointment to meet with a librarian. We do ask that you fill out the form for us because it allows you to share what times actually work for you. We want to be able to meet with you on your time, unless us sort of giving you opportunities. We want to sort of coordinate that best that way. So important information to know about. So when you're, getting started with, doing some research, um, you know, the easiest thing that you can do is to use Power Search, which is this box right here. So what Power Search does is it tries to search most of the databases that we subscribe to all in one go. And I believe last count, it's close to 70. So that's a lot. And it covers a wide swath of topics. It's not just nursing, communications, business, social sciences. It's all across a variety of topics. So that can be helpful sometimes. It can be good to sort of think very broadly about your topic, because you'll find that there are very useful resources tucked away in databases that you might not instinctively think to look at. For instance, maybe you're in a nursing program and you're looking for something to do about educating your students, or even, educating anyone. You might not necessarily think to go into an interdisciplinary database, or if you're coming from nursing, to think to look in an education database. So Power Search can sort of help you sort of break out of any kind of preconceived notions that you have by just looking at everything. Of course, the drawback is that because it's looking at so many things all at once, it can give you way too much. So let's put something in our search box. Um, what can I do? I've been doing so many nursing leadership search demonstrations lately. I'm a little stuck on that. Let's do this is another one that came up recently for me. So basically, you would put your first search term in. I always recommend just starting with something sort of broad, the first aspect of your search term, so that you're not overwhelming it. And what that does for you is it brings you to this advanced search screen, which allows you to sort of start building your search. You'll see Power Search is an EBSCO style database. And why that really means anything to you is that number one, we offer a lot of EBSCO-based databases. So once you get the hang of one of them, the look and feel and the way that you do your searches is going to look very similar from one to the next. So for instance, CINAHL, Academic Search Complete, ERIC, those are all EBSCO-based. So you're going to always see, all right, advanced search screen, you have the 3 boxes here to start playing with your terms. You have your filters over here. So that's going to be very similar. The other reason that you would have any interest in knowing that this was an EBSCO database is that there is an option to create an account, which will help you organize your research. But I'll get back to that in a second. So, put in my first search term, and I've already got 50,000 results. Now that's way too many to look at. So you will want to sort of start building your search by adding additional search terms. So I always treat each of these boxes as separate components of my research question. I find it easier for me to keep track of all of the different research terms that are all of the different sort of concepts that go into my research question. You could actually blend everything all on one line. So maybe we're looking at, you know, actually, let me start with this. We'll say adverse childhood experience, maybe health outcome. So I will digress for a second here. When you are using EBSCO databases, you'll see that they like to give you popular terms. Now that can be helpful. It can help you think of additional synonyms and different ways of expressing your topic. Sometimes it can go in very strange directions. This isn't actually a bad option, this one where it's suggesting health outcomes or health consequences or impacts or health effects. So I might select that. So it's important to consider a lot of synonyms when you're building your search in the databases, because databases aren't terribly clever. They don't anticipate your needs. They don't anticipate, well, you said this, maybe you might mean that. You need to sort of spell out exactly what you want it to look for. So synonyms can be very important. Now, to go back to what I was saying before I had a little distraction by that popular terms thing, if you wanted to, you could build this entire search on one line. But it does start to look like a mathematical equation. So you would put, your first term in parentheses, and then you would say, okay, I want adverse childhood experience, and I want my search terms here. All of that would go in parentheses. So I don't love that option myself because I find it much more useful for me to be able to visually see that I've accounted for each of my concepts. But it's a little personal preference. If you like doing it that way, you're welcome to do it that way. The other important thing is your filters. Now, depending on the needs of your assignment, you might need different types of materials. Sometimes, using an ebook might be a good option. Other times you might need to use scholarly or peer-reviewed sources. So if you have that restriction that you need to use a scholarly peer-reviewed article, you can click on this right here where it says limit to. And what that means is that you're going to see results that were published within a scholarly or peer-reviewed journal. You do want to keep monitoring what you are seeing in your results, though, because not every single thing that's published in a peer-reviewed journal is peer-reviewed. Sometimes you'll see things like book reviews or commentaries or editorials. Those don't typically go through a peer review process. So if you were to see one of those articles and think, oh, this is promising, you just want to make sure that you're not probably using that for your assignment. You'll see in these search results that it starts to tell you a little bit about what type of material it is. So for instance, this first one says that it's an article, systematic review. This one is an article, journal article. So most of what you see, as you can see in our results here, are going to be journal articles. But that will be one of the first, that sort of little notation there will be one of the first indications if you're finding something that isn't. Another important consideration is full text versus available in library collection. They changed the language on that since I last closely looked at it. Full text means that it's going to be, if you select that option, it's going to be a material that is currently available in the library's collection. That's something important to consider when you are looking at your timeline. Now, if you're working on a discussion post and you need to post something, Wednesday night, you need to have an article that supports your claims, it might be useful, and maybe it's Wednesday morning, maybe it's Tuesday morning. It might be a good idea to limit it to full text, because what that means is you'll be able to see the article, use the article right away. If you don't select that, you might encounter articles like this, which say request from interlibrary loan. Interlibrary loan is free. It allows you to request an article outside of our collection. We typically say that it will take about 3 business days for us to be able to get it from another library. It's often closer to 24 to 48 hours, but there's not necessarily any guarantee. So if you are working on a tight timeline, then it might be to your advantage to use that full text limiter. On the flip side, if you're working on a more long-term project, like a semester-long project, or if you're conducting a literature review, you probably wouldn't want to use that full text filter, because especially with a literature review, you want to have that full breadth of what's written on a given topic, not just what's written in the stuff that Regis happens to have. So it's a sort of situational choice, but maybe we'll select that for this one. The last big limiter that you might need on a regular basis is the date range. Now, depending on your assignment, you might be told, I only want to see articles that are published within the last 5 years, sometimes 3 years, sometimes 2. So you can say right here, all right, things that are published within the last 5 years. So now that's cut that original 50,000 some odd thing down to about 77. That's still quite a bit. But you can see how you're sort of slowly, chipping away and starting to see some of the results. When you are looking at your search results here, you'll often see, different options on how you can get access to it. Sometimes you'll have an article here that says available full text. So if you click on that, it thinks about it. It'll give you an option as to how we can provide you access with it. So if you click on one of those links, it should give us access to the full text of the article. Other articles will have options that say HTML or PDF full text. If you click on the title, it will often bring you to this thing that's called the detailed record. I always think that that's useful to look at because it gives you a lot of sort of basic information to sort of help you evaluate, is this a promising article for me to actually spend some time looking at? You get the abstract, you get some information about subject terms, keywords. Sometimes you can, as you're starting to look at these articles, you can figure out new and different search terms that you might add to your own search to sort of enrich it and point it in a different direction. But you'll also have options over here as to how you can get access to it. So if I click PDF full text, it should give me PDF full text of my article. So the other thing that you'll see here on this page is that, you have all of these different tools. So, one of the most popular ones is the Cite tool. So what that does is that gives you a preview of, or it gives you a version of what the citation should look like. Now, the important thing to remember is that there is not a citation tool under the sun that gets it right 100% of the time. For instance, this says APA 7th edition. While it's got all the authors in the right place, the date in the right place, title, journal, what it didn't get right is the capitalization. So with an APA style, when you're looking at a journal article title, you want to be using sentence case, which means that it's capitalized as though it were in a sentence. So only proper nouns would get capitalized beyond the first letter. So, it's good to sort of get a general idea of what your citation should look like, but you do have to be aware that you're going to look over it carefully because they're not foolproof. Other tools would be, if you wanted to save a permalink. So maybe you're not going to read this article right now. You would never want to use this address up here in the top of the search browser because it's just temporary. So if you were to save that for yourself, it'd be very disappointing if you went back to it, an hour later and found that there was nothing there. So permalinks are your friends. So you want to make sure that you're saving that if you're trying to save a web address. Looking back at our search results list, other information that's available here is, you have additional limiters that you can try applying to sort of further refine your results. If you wanted to find ebooks, I would say take away the peer reviewed thing, and then you can see over here types of sources. Oh, I want to see ebooks. There's another option. Different subject tags that you might try applying. Another tool here that I like is the databases searched. So that gives you information about where your search results are coming from. So, Power Search is great because, you're thinking expansively, but, it can be to your advantage to use a subject-specific database at times because subject-specific ones not only are already starting from within a certain context. So for instance, with nursing, if you chose CINAHL, you're already starting from within that nursing and allied health kind of general area. So you don't necessarily have to layer in filters sort of pointing it in that direction as much. What this tells you is where your search results are coming from. So maybe given my topic, I could say, okay, I could go into Medline or Academic Search Complete and run this search and try to use some of the different unique filters that are available in that specific database. There are additional, CINAHL is, one that's very, very popular. But for instance, there's a ability in there for you to say, just show me systematic reviews on my topic. So, but that's not something that's instinctively built into Power Search. So you get some advanced features, you get some extra options and ways to narrow your search within a subject-specific database. EBSCO accounts are another great option in terms of keeping yourself organized and ways of saving articles. It's something that's free. If you click sign in, sign up, what that will do is I already have an account and I save it because I can never remember the password. But you can create an account up there. We usually recommend using your Regis email for creating any kind of accounts associated with the library. So if I click sign in, it thinks about whether or not it wants to sign me in. So now I have additional ways of saving things. So I can add articles to folders to save it for later so that I'm sort of able to just start to select things out that I want to go back and look at without sort of navigating too far away from my original search. So right here where there's a little folder icon, I could say, all right, I'm going to save that to my folder. You can create different folders for different classes, different topics. Actually, let me make my window smaller because I can't see that. You can also save this entire search for yourself. So let's say you're conducting some research on a lunch break even, and you want to be able to come back to it easily later. Again, this up here is not your friend. It's not going to stay there for you. So where it says share, there's an option here there's a couple options. You can save a permalink and come back to it that way. You can add this search to your folder. Another option to save the search to is to save your search history. So I like this option a lot myself because I can say, all right, I'm going to save a search alert. But what I'm also getting is all of the other things that I've tried within my searching session. That can be helpful sometimes just to remind yourself, okay, I tried this and it was a really dumb avenue, or oh, I tried this and it really gave me great results. So you're able to sort of keep track of what you've already done. So if I click Save Search and Alert, I can make a little and give it a title. And it's telling me all of the different things that it was searching, all of the different databases it was searching for me. So now in my folder, I have this option here. And even these demonstration searches that I've run months ago now, if I click Retrieve Save Search, it's going to allow me right here where it says rerun to rerun that search and jump right back into the middle of things. So I find that that can be a very helpful tool as well. Hiding that. You can also navigate to your folder from right up here where it says folder. And so here are articles that I've put in here. So here's the one that I think that I just added. You also can save ebooks for yourself, searches that you've saved. So it can be a handy way to sort of start to organize things. Let's go back. And actually, I'm going to go back to my original search and hide my search history again. Hide my search history again. Another tool that can be useful too is that there's an option here under the share menu to create an email alert. So if you're ever researching a topic over an extended period of time, you can set up an email alert for yourself. Then it will basically take whatever search terms you've put in, any filters, any limiters that you've put in, and have it send you an alert of anything new that comes up in your search results so that you're able to stay current on any kind of new developments on your research topic. That's good for sort of some of the more longer term research type assignments. Any questions about anything so far? No? Okay. So PowerSearch is a great option. It's a good way of sort of thinking broadly about your topic. I often start off my research here to sort of think very expansively before sort of getting too narrow. The other natural option for you to start doing your research is to use the databases. So if you click on databases, what that gives you is our full database list, and you can actually subject. So we've highlighted different databases that we think will be helpful for students in different fields. So for instance, ABA has some of the what we consider some best bets. We have nursing graduate. But that's not to say that you couldn't find something mix and match as you want. But this is just sort of a nice starting place to sort of help you understand like what databases might be useful for you. I think that there will be search results for all three of your kind of fields within CINAHL, so I'll just click on that one just to highlight it. So as you can see, it's another EBSCO database. So you have that same kind of style, that same look and feel. And the EBSCO account is the same across all of these different ones so that you're not having to remember a password and a new account for each different database. It's all one database. It's all one sort of EBSCO account. one of the big thing that's different with CINAHL, for example, is that they have a lot of additional filters that you can start to add in. Now, I usually say, you probably don't want to jump into too many of these at first. You want to start off a little bit more broad and continue to sort of whittle things down. What was it? So, but the overall look and feel is going to be very similar. Now, even though I've added these, terms in, if I wanted to go back to that, having done my first search, I could still go back to that advanced search screen and have it hold on to those terms and then say, okay, let's say I want scholarly, I want things within the last 5 years. So under published date, some of the different examples within CINAHL, there's the ability for you to say, okay, just show me things within a certain geographical subset. That can sometimes be useful if you're talking about, professional activities or professional expectations, since, things in the US might not match those abroad. So that can sometimes be important. You also have the ability to, look for a different type of publication. There's some really interesting ones in here. I always say, I'm going to figure out what cartoon is in CINAHL someday, but apparently there must be some cartoon in CINAHL that they have that option there. So as that's sort of some of the advantages to this subject style database, is that you do have this extra ability to sort of tailor and narrow down your search. I often think it's good to, start big and move small, but that's my personal, approach. Searching is trial and error. It's testing. It's, seeing what works and what doesn't. It's definitely a process. It's not an instantaneous, I've magically unlocked the search term that's going to give me all the articles I need. It can be an exercise in patience at time. So I'm going to turn it over to Tricia, who's going to talk some about some of our other research tools. Let me stop my share.
Sure. And we just got a question about how do you link Google Scholar to the
Oh.
library. I can.
Do you want to handle that?
Yeah, I can do that. And I just ran a really quick broad search on cartoon, comic strip, and nurse, and we got some results. So I'll show you guys that and after this in a minute. So let me just go ahead and share my screen. Okay, so let's go to good old Google Scholar here. And so I'm going to run that same childhood experience. I'll just do a really adverse childhood experiences. So as you can see, I already have this Find at Regis College because I'm on campus right now. I think I also have the link manually set up as well, but it's very easy to set it up. So when you're in a search like this, if you go up to the 3 little bars next to Google Scholar, and you click on this, and then you go to your settings. And if you're on a mobile device, the settings gear might be up here. It might just be a gear, but look for that gear and for the settings. And then you want to go to library links. And here I can show you what it looks like. Here, I'm going to hit save. I'm going to unlink it. So this is probably, if you don't have the link already set up, this is what you're seeing. So now I'm going to go to the 3 little bars, settings, library links, and now I'm going to search for Regis College Library. And here it is here. You're going to check it off, and then you're going to hit save. And now you will see this Find at Regis College link. And so when you see this,
you do want to make sure that you leave that open world cat checked off as well. That's sort of the default library search link.
Yes, definitely. So, if you see anything, you see this Find at Regis College, when you click on this, it'll, oh, fun. The first one I click on, there's a little glitch in it. Let me find one where it's not that. Wiley should be good to us. Okay, so this is what you should see. Occasionally, the holdings don't get updated right away. So there might be something that we used to have that we don't have anymore, that Google Scholar still thinks we have, that link isn't always 100% seamless. So you may see something like the first thing you saw, it says no results found. Usually you should see something like this. It takes us to what's called our full text finder. It tells you where the full text is. So you click on any one of these links. I'm not sure why there's 4 of the same link. They're all going to take you to the same place. Better more links that work than no links that work at all. So, and so here it is here. And now you can get the PDF here for this particular one. There's also the full text right in the browser here. Now let's say for this one in particular, you clicked on this and you saw, uh-oh, no results found. What does that mean? There is sort of like a back avenue to see if we have it, and if we don't, to get that request from interlibrary loan link. So all you have to do, and you could do this with any article title at all that you find on Google Scholar or anywhere, you're going to copy the article title and you're going to go back to our homepage, which is, where did it just go? Here it is. And you're going to paste it into Power Search. And the reason we use Power Search is because, as Amanda mentioned earlier, that it searches almost all of our databases. So we don't know which database this article is going to be indexed in. So, and this is a pretty broad, I mean, it's the same search that we had before. So for this one, you might want to put in some more information, like the journal title, for instance, or the author name. So let's try the author name. Nope. Where's my results? Here it is. And I might just do last name, just because sometimes it's indexed with the full first name and sometimes it's indexed with just the first initial. You may have noticed that in some of the results. And so here it is right here. It was in the Pediatrics and Child Health from 2018. And so here, so yeah, it looks like something we maybe used to have at one point, but we no longer subscribe to. And for whatever reason, that didn't get updated in the Google Scholar holdings. But now that you've found the article and you really want to read it, you can go ahead and request it from interlibrary loan. So there's a few different ways to work with Google Scholar and our collections. Any other questions about Google Scholar before we move on? All right, let's see. Thank you. You're welcome. Okay. All right, so first, let's look at these cartoons really quick because we're very curious here. So here's something that's congratulations. All right. So I guess it's just these cartoons that are indexed in, there's a cartoon competition in the Australian Nursing and Midwifery Journal. Very, very interesting. Okay, so they do exist. That is an actual thing that is indexed in the databases. So now back to serious stuff. So as you are working in the databases, and you may be saving your articles in your EBSCO folders, but you really want another way to collect all of these citations into one system. So a citation management software, a citation generator. And so we use at Regis something called RefWorks. You may have seen other ones like EndNote or Zotero or Mendeley. You may have seen, or may have even used other ones, but we use RefWorks. We have a subscription with them. So as you are going through your results and you say, yes, I'm using this in my paper and I want to add this to my bibliography, you can do that right in the databases. But first you want to create an account. So there's a couple different ways you can get to RefWorks. We do have a link to it right in our databases list. But if you wanted to learn more information after this session, we do have a button here for RefWorks. And it takes you to our research guide where we talk about what RefWorks is, how to do different things in it. But it also has the link to access RefWorks. And actually, I'm thinking I'm going to move this link right to the page you land on. It just seems to make more sense now that I'm actually doing it as, as a user. But you can get to the link right through here. So you go to New RefWorks. And the reason why we have New RefWorks is because they have 2 installations of it currently. There's a legacy RefWorks and a new RefWorks. And so they're switching to the new RefWorks. So you'll see it referred to it as that for a little while until they deactivate the legacy one. But when you first click on that link, you'll get taken to this page here. I was already signed in, so it just auto signed me in. But you as a new user will see this page. And I already have an account, and like Amanda, I forget my password, so I always save them. But you would log in here if you already had an account. To create an account, now this is an important thing to note is you want to make sure you go to this create account link here. Because there's this use login from my institution, but that's not the same thing as that's not the same way we log in. So you want to make sure you go to this create account, and then you're going to use your Regis email. And because what it does is it checks to make sure that this email is part of a college subscription plan, which it is, because we subscribe to it. So it's really important that you use your Regis email to create your RefWorks account. So once you create your account, you can log in. And the first time you log in, it'll probably ask you to fill out a little user profile completion form where it asks you what program you're in, and that sort of thing. But I've been using mine for years now for various things, mostly for demonstrations. So mine is going to look a little atypical. I have a lot of different folders with varying topics. But similarly to EBSCO folders, you can create custom folders in here to go along with the different papers or projects or topics that you're working on. And you can, of course, manually add references. If you already have a bunch that you just want to get in here, you can go ahead and add. You can import if you have a file, or you can create a new reference. And then it pulls up this new reference form here, and you just choose what type of reference type. Mostly it's journal articles, but you might have books or websites. And what you can do is you can type in, and actually, let me see if I can make my screen a little smaller here so that, well, not that small. I'm just trying to make it so that it's not as, let me see here. Bear with me for a second here. Okay. Oh, and it did it again. Well, on the side here, you can type in. So you type in your article title. Let me see, actually, let me go to my results list. Adverse, I can just do adverse childhood experiences, and that should give us plenty. And then next to, you might have to move us aside to see this, but next to the article title, there's this little lightning bolt. And so what that will do is that will search RefWorks' database of articles. And then down the bottom, you'll see all of the results. It'll say, did you mean one of these? And so you would choose, I mean, obviously you would have more information, probably a much more intricate title than I have. But let's pretend that this one is the specific adverse childhood experiences and their association with other childhood experience. So I'm going to click on this and it auto fills in all of that information for you. So it has the authors. I mean, it does give you the abstract too, but that's not necessarily part of the citation itself. It gives you the journal. It gives you the URL too. But here's where, as Amanda mentioned, any citation generator is not 100%. So you do want to triple check this and make sure that all of the pieces are there. Like this does have a published date, volume, issue. It does have a URL, but you want to make sure that the DOI field is in there. And instead of, I mean, the URL is helpful to have where it came from, but what you're really interested, what it's the citation really needs is the DOI number. Do you guys know what the DOI number is? Are you familiar with that? So it's a digital object identifier. It's basically a link to where the article lives electronically. So usually it'll take you to the publisher's page when you click on it. And so let me see. So you just add more fields, you search for the DOI, and then here it has it already in here. For some reason, it didn't auto fill in that field. It did retain that DOI number as part of filling in everything, but for some reason it didn't show it as one of the manual fields. But you want to make sure that shows, because when I show you how to generate the citations later on, you'll have that already in the citation generated for you. So that's one way to get a citation in. So I'm going to go ahead and hit save down here, save that in. And so, you know, let's say we've created a custom folder for this particular adverse childhood experiences. You can add a folder here. I'm going to pretend I did and just show you how to move this. So let's say I want to move this to my specific topic folder. So it's already checked off here, but you would want to check it off and go to assign folder. And then you can move it to whatever folder. I'll do my example folder. That's a good one. I don't have permission. What is that? I've never seen that before. That's so weird. Oh, you know what? This might have been someone's folder that they shared with me. So let me try a different folder here. I'll try demo. He yells at me. There we go. So I'm going to move some of these to my demo folder. Assign to folder, just so I can show you what a full bibliography looks like when we get to that. And so now here are these articles in my demo folder. Now let's say I'm searching in the databases and I see an article that I'm really interested in. And I want to get that citation information into RefWorks. There's a way to export it from EBSCO into RefWorks. So actually first let me go in here. And so you can do this from Power Search as well as any of the specific subject databases like CINAHL. So let's say this one is really good. I've read it. I've saved the PDF. And you know, I'm going to use it in my paper. I'm going to use it as one of my references. So you can go into the article, and then over on the right-hand side where all of those tools were to get a quick cite, to generate a permalink, you can click on the export tool, and it's called the Export Manager. And so it defaults to RefWorks because that is the citation management software that we use here. But you do have other options if you are using another citation management software. But I do want this to go to RefWorks, so I'm going to go ahead and hit save. And then, again, this is another reference to the newest version of RefWorks. And so now it's asking me what folder I want to assign it to. Now, if I don't have any custom folders, it's just going to assign it to this not in folder, which is fine, and you can move it later. But I am going to move it to my demo folder. I'm going to go ahead and hit import. It says it's imported it. I'm going to hit OK. And it also saves it for a time in this last imported section here. But now I'm going to go to my demo folder because I have all these articles here that that now I'm ready to create a bibliography for. So you can select all of them, or you can select one just to see how to cite just one of them. But I'm going to select all of them. I'm going to go to create bibliography here. And then create bibliography. And then we have it set to default to APA because that's mostly what people are using, and the health sciences field, and definitely in the ABA nursing social work field, APA is the #1 citation style. And so here it has created a references list for me to then copy and paste it into at the end of my paper. Now it does, again, it's not 100%. So you still do need to understand what a citation should look like for a particular source. These are all journal articles. And then update it accordingly. So you can certainly copy and paste this into at the end of your paper, but then you might need to tweak it a little bit before you submit it. And sorry, the landscapers are, of course, they're here right behind me. So if you hear any background noise, that's them. So for instance, here, there should be a period and a space after the volume number here. So that's an easy fix. You just period space it. At the end here, I'm seeing a database URL instead of a DOI. So this is one of those ones you'll have to look up the DOI for and insert that. So let's see, Association of Adverse Childhood Experiences. So let me go back to my list. So now that I have that one, that was is this one right here. So let me click on this and it's going to pull up the record on the right hand side here. I'm going to move us and I'm going to hit edit. There was that little pen in the top corner there to edit. And then I want to add more fields, DOI. Let's see, okay, and they don't have it saved. So at this point, for the sake of time, I won't go into how to look for a DOI and all of that right now. You can always set up an appointment with us if you want more help with how to find specific pieces of an article. But at this point, you'll want to look up the DOI and put that in here and then rerun that bibliography so that it shows properly. But that is RefWorks, a quick guide to RefWorks and how to use it. So if you are doing a lot of research, especially if you're doing a research class or you're in the DNP program, this would be a really useful tool for you to have to keep track of your citations. There's also a tool that you can download, and actually you have to go into, when you're in Word, you go into the Word store, and here I'm going to go to tools and show you. So you go into the Microsoft Store in Word and you install the RefWorks Citation Manager tool. And then within Word, you sign into your RefWorks account and it has all your references there. It can help you cite as you write. So you can insert citations and then it will create a bibliography at the end for you. Excuse me, I've been talking for far too long. Very quickly, I know we're running short on time and I want to leave time for questions. Don't want to take up too much time. I just wanted to show you the research guides that we have available. So back at the home page here, there's the research guides. And so we have, this is done by subject here. Excuse me. And mostly, I mean, if you're in the ABA program, you can click on the ABA Applied Behavioral Analysis. We also have social work. Then we have nursing graduate as well. And so these are guides that we feel would be most helpful for this particular topic. So I'll go into the nursing graduate, this particular subject, I should say. And so you'll definitely want to bookmark this APA 7th edition. It's actually our most popular guide. I think we're up to, wow, 135,000 views now. So it gets used a lot and it is very useful. But you can also bookmark, we have subject home pages. So you can bookmark this and then just get to all of the guides that we think would be most useful for you in your graduate student journey. And is anything from if you're in a specific nursing class, if you need help with choosing sources, citing, as I mentioned, if you need help with writing a literature review, we have this how to write a literature review for nursing. So these are really good, reference tools for you to use on your own after you've come away from this session that we've bombarded you with information. Or if you have an appointment with us and you say, oh, what did the librarian say about this? Check out our research guides because we cover a lot of information in them. Okay, does anyone have any questions about anything? Did we miss anything? Anything you wish we talked about?
It's a lot. It's there's a lot of information out there and there are a lot of different resources out there. It definitely can be overwhelming and hard to know where to start. But we hope, this at least gives you like an intro about, where do you go to find the stuff?
I actually have a question.
Sure.
Hi, Trisha.
Hi, nice to see you again.
So the RefWork with the Microsoft Word, if you can just run through it quickly. How did you do that?
So I'm not sure how much I'll be able to do here because this is on my work machine and ITS locks down.
We don't have administrative control over our own
Yes.
computers here at
I
work.
remember.
Yes. Oh yeah, I think it was with you, Santina, about
So
the
I have to make an account and do it on my own. Okay.
Yeah, it's so I think Microsoft Store. I was trying to remember how to do this because it was insert. That's right. I remember this now. It was insert store. Yes. And then you search for RefWorks. And here it is. And then you can hit add. Continue. It's going to give me an error message. Yeah. We can't load this add-in because we couldn't connect to the catalog. Yes, because ITS has locked down our machines, so we can't add plugins and this sort of stuff. But theoretically, you would see a login over here to log into your RefWorks account. And once you've logged in, it will show you all the references you have currently saved in your account.
And it definitely allows you to interface more directly rather than sort of the copy and paste bit.
Yes, definitely. And you know, if you wanted to set up a consultation and share your screen, and that after you've downloaded it, we can certainly walk you through it that way as well. But unfortunately, I can't show you a live demo of how exactly it works. It is really cool though, and really useful.
Yeah, thank you.
But yeah, sure.
All right, well, it looks like it's 5 o'clock, and if you guys don't have any other questions, but just to reiterate, you know, if you do have questions, you know, Trisha and I are both happy to answer them directly, but that reference, our reference team is a great resource to rely on as well, since we do have that expanded availability outside sort of regular business hours.
Contact us.
Contact us, has the hours at the top, has the ability to make an appointment, but then, you know, at the bottom, it also gives you the email address and telephone number, because we will have somebody, you know, if you want to talk to someone on the phone, we have someone, you know, around during those hours as well. The email is just reference@regiscollege.edu. So that can be a great place. So if you have a research question, you want to know, you're having trouble finding an article, if you want citation help, you know, we're happy to help with any of those things. So, well, that's all we have for you guys today. But please, you know, feel free to reach out in the future, and we look forward to hearing from you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Yep.